Welcome to the latest Motley Fool scoreboard. I'm on in Chalk Balloon. We've got longtime fools, Dan Caplinger and Tyler Crowe, giving a 1 to 10 rating to a top 100 stock in the primary hidden gems database. It's Tetra Tech, ticker symbol TTEK. Talk about the strength of Tetra's business first, including factors like industry, competition. 10's invincible, 1's hopeless. Tyler's at a 9. Dan, you're at a 7.
Yeah, so Tetra Tech, it's a company, it provides consulting services in areas like water management, environmental projects, infrastructure projects. There's some level of cyclicality here. Certain types of projects sometimes come in and out of favor in this area. Nevertheless, Tetra Tech's done a good job over the long run of steadily growing, managing through those ups and downs of different financing environments and different policy priorities to build a pretty strong business record out of it.
Yeah, I went with 9, and I'll get into Tetra Tech is very much a water-related construction company, and especially that comes with like municipal and state-level construction. That's one of the parts of the industry that's considerably less cyclical than like commercial construction. And Tetra Tech is not just one of the nation's largest municipal water and wastewater treatment facility contractors. It's like the world's largest when it does this. They literally wrote the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency's manual on emerging technology and wastewater treatment. You can go to their website and it says written by Tetra Tech. I even had their wastewater recycling textbook in college. Like they are the prominent leaders in this business. I find it hard to imagine a world where water and wastewater treatment goes out of fashion.
But was it a signed wastewater recycling textbook? For management, a 10 is Warren Buffett. For management, a 10 is Warren Buffett. A 1 is Homer Simpson. Tyler's at a 7. This time, Dan's at a 9.
Yeah, I love stories like this. Dan Batrack is CEO, has been CEO for 20 years, has a 45-year history of career at Tetra Tech, just come up from the ground level up. I love to see situations like that. And I give Batrack a lot of the credit for the massive growth spurt that we've seen in the business really since the late 20-teens or so.
Yeah. Look, the starts as like an intern out of college and then somehow climbs their way to CEO 45 later. Those are some of the best stories in business that don't get covered nearly as much. I went with a 7 though, and I took some points off basically because it's not the worst compensation structure package I've ever read, but it's not the best either. So it's kind of right in the middle of the road. So I knocked some points off there.
Yeah. For financials, a 10 is a fortress, a 1 is yikes. Tyler's at an 8. Dan, you're at a 7.
Yeah, so dinging a couple points because we saw some revenue and profit growth in the past, but the growth rates on that have slowed somewhat. Nevertheless, I'm pretty comfortable with the company. It still have a good amount of cash flow. It still remain where it needs to be. Balance sheet, there is some debt on the balance sheet, but it's not an excessive amount. It doesn't raise any concerns about maintaining that debt. So 7 seems appropriate to me.
Yeah, I went with an 8, and I'm giving the company a little bit of grace here on that revenue decline we've seen recently. And part of that is because it was a major contractor for USAID, the federal government, and basically all that business is completely gone through no fault of their own. Returns are still high, and it costs practically nothing from a capital expenditure side to keep the lights on at this building, so results in strong free cash flow.
All right, Tyler, let's talk valuation. How well will Tetra Tech's stock do over the next 5 years, and how safe is it? 10's a sure thing, 1's a lottery ticket.
Yeah, I went with 10 to 15, safety of 7. Like over the past 13 years, or it's averaged 13% annually, over the past 20 years. And that's including, sending the USAID business into the wood chipper, as it were. Most of the book that it has of business is municipal, state, and international work, which are rather consistent sources of growth. Water infrastructure is in relatively poor condition in the United States. It's like a D and a D plus on drinking and wastewater by the American Society of Civil Engineers report. And municipalities are going to have to pony up for this sooner than later.
Yeah, I went 5 to 10% with a safety score of 6. I'd be at the high end of 5 to 10%. That's basically market perform for me. I think my biggest concern about Tetra Tech is just that some of the environmental policy initiatives that have supported its business, it's things like USAID, they're getting undermined by changing policy priorities in Washington. Tyler's absolutely right that municipalities, government entities really can't afford to let this stuff go forever. But nevertheless, I've seen a lot of small towns really struggle lately just with the rising cost of all of these things. And so while I agree Tetra Tech in the long run has to get that business back, I think that there is at least a short-term concern that that customers are going to push back those expenditures as far as they can, even if it does put the health of their constituents potentially at risk.
Thank you to both Dan and to Tyler. They've given Tetra Tech an overall score of 7.3 out of 10 with no top hits. Pretty solid there. Look out for a new scoreboard every market day at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up is Next Power. Till then, Fool on.